It is totally my bedtime, but I've had this message that has been wanting to come through for a little bit. And so I want to bring this in before I head to bed this evening. And as always, when I am called to deliver messages like this, I trust that if you're called to be here, there is something here for you. I'm not going to channel 7 deities. I'm not going to perform spirituality for you. I'm not going to show you my horse and pony show. I'm just going to offer you a message and trust that it meets your heart if it's meant to. The first thing I want to do is just recap the energy of 2025. I've posted quite a bit of it on my YouTube, and obviously YouTube is free, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to check out my YouTube, because I do go into length about first next month's energy I talk a lot about, but then also on YouTube I do talk about 2025's energy, if that's in alignment with you. If not, I'll just recap a little bit here. This is the year of pressure. And see, when we're in the pressure, we don't know that we're going to become a diamond. What we're going to become, we're just in the cooker. We're just in the intensity of the energy. And I can assume for you in your life, that has really been a lot of 2025's energy. Pressure to change, pressure to reassess, pressure to relocate, pressure to reorient your boundaries, your priorities, your values. For a lot of us, there have just been these unbelievable realizations that seem to come out of nowhere, and new positions have been taken in life. And that is because this is the year of the diamond. And in the year of the diamond, we are experiencing an immeasurable amount of pressure. Now, what this is leading to for a lot of us this year is overwhelm in our energy. And it might come predictably, it might come circumstantially, like things you used to do, you can't do anymore. People you used to engage with, you can't anymore. The way you used to show up or serve or create is just not working anymore. It's not feeling resonant with you anymore. And so there's a lot that the chakras are absorbing. I don't teach psychic protection because I'm afraid of the world around me. I teach psychic protection. The greatest philosophy my guides taught me about the psychic protection mechanism is that when I don't have psychic protection, what happens is that my energy becomes like a sponge. And as a highly sensitive person like us, it matters. Every engagement, every scroll, every dynamic, it counts. And especially right now, as there's a lot of pressure and a lot of unknown in the world and in our own lives, there's a lot of different energy going on. See, when I place up something as simple as a white or golden shield around my energy when I'm going to new places or engaging in new things, the sponge becomes a mirror. So what I am receiving is reflected back to the sender. Now, of course, this is not foolproof, because if we have our own interferences on a karmic level that we're clearing, it's like, well, take the log out of your own eye before you take the speck out of mine, right? Like, obviously there's nuance here, but this year it's very important that we're utilizing these sovereign practices, because especially right now, there is so much absorption. And what I'm seeing happening with a lot of light workers is they are so lost in these energies. And there is no shame that that's you. I've been going through a lot of these growth edges and swells right now. And feel free, if you want to, be shameless here and acknowledge, like, I've been feeling really fucking lost in my life right now. If you're watching the replay, feel free to share. And I attest a lot of that to the fact that, yes, of course, there's a lot of unknown elements in the world right now. Yes, the frequency of the planet is absolutely evolving at a very rapid speed. But I also attest a lot of this to how we're not releasing the pressure with legitimate faith. And so I think this is a big reason why a lot of New Age people right now are swinging to modern Christianity and actually still losing the plot. Because the reason they left was because they were running away from themselves, and now they're running away to a savior, and then they realize, wait, I'm actually a savior. It's like, that's the pendulum swing, or you find people who are super Christian going over to New Age, and then they're kind of getting lost over there because they went from like, I don't need a savior, to like, now I'm, this New Age self-obsessed person. And there's that oscillation that's happening because people's faith is not actually legitimized. It's either prophesized or it's self-glorified. One of the biggest things I brought through about 2025 was that we were going to have to use this year to find our own release points that are sovereign to us. So one of my favorite things to do is to hike. It costs nothing. It's with the people I love the most. It grounds and centers my energy. And it's not ritualistic or over-spiritualized. It's just simply here. Another thing I love is listening to music. Good music can really take me somewhere that allows me to process things much faster. But I have those release points on top of my Sovereign Healer methods: ground, shield, protect, and cleanse. This is why I teach the Sovereign Healer method. So you can actually learn how to take care of your hygiene, your energetic field right now, so that your faith can be legitimized. Like I said, not prophesized, not over self-glorified, but true, right? True in your definition of who God, the source, the creator is, that has a divine design in your life. And these release points are becoming more and more necessary, because the byproduct of you feeling all of this pressure and then feeling lost and feeling like there's so much energy you don't know what to focus on. Are we focusing on the fact that this is happening, or this could happen, or this just happened, or this is falling apart, or this, that? What this is going to lead to is an exorbitant amount of overwhelm. And when the chakras and your energy systems are in overdrive, it's like your phone that overheats, right? It needs the energy is too much. Did you ever feel like spirituality in the matrix eventually became ungrounding? Yeah, because I think there's a matrix within the matrix. I live a really good life, and then I do really big spiritual work, and I separate that. And I've had some psychics who are like, bring them together. And I'm like, they're separate. They're separate energies. Because when I'm over here, I'm feeling my human, and the things that I do as a human, I don't want to be available for codes about the matrix or about spirituality. I don't want to be receptive to that information. I want to be receptive to love and connection. I want to be receptive to my partner, to my dogs, to the life I'm building, to good food. I don't want to have a code about the karma of the fucking meat I'm eating. I want to just be, right? And then when I'm in the work, that allows me to go in with full strength. And I found that when I was really, really deep in the New Age movement, if you will, and I was doing all the divination tools and all the rituals and all the things consistently that were really, really, glorified and spiritualized in nature, I couldn't walk. My back was blown out so bad. I was attacked by multiple nefarious entities. I was channeling multiple different light councils, maybe, and I couldn't even tell you if they were actually real, because I had no frame of discernment, because one, was not in my body, and two, didn't fucking care, because I thought we were all one anyway. So yeah, I think it's absolutely ungrounding. And that's why this year of the pressure, we have to find those things that are sovereign for us, that allow us to release some of this pressure that we're feeling about what is, what's coming, what's changing, what's evolving, what's unknown. I'm speaking to a part of you that is obviously aware that what we're moving through in the world right now is extremely unprecedented, and you were fucking born for this. You know that. But the tests on tests on tests on tests seems to be, unrelenting right now. And your character is built in this moment, or it is broken because it wasn't actual. And so what's building in the energy for a lot of us are where these rubber meets the road moments, and these massive realizations are being had, and it's building a lot of pressure in our systems. Over the last month, a lot of it has been our relationship with being seen, or what our values are, or what, some of our family bloodline stuff, or what our really honest priorities are, and are they actually comforting us, or are they just to feed some sort of childhood loop of wanting to be seen? And so there's been a lot of inner child healing that we've been doing. But as we continue to progress in the world, kind of halfway through 2025, this pressure in the world is only going to keep growing. That this pressure in the collective energy is going to keep growing, because we've got the solar flares and the Schumann resonance. So it's I don't know what I need. Do I need to ground? My mouth is so dry, I can't eat. I've got all these ascension symbols while I'm simultaneously feeling really destabilized right now. And so this message is kind of twofold. It's a reminder for you that there are tools in this world right now that don't require some sort of fancy get up and go down. But there are things in your life that actually remind you of the gift of being here. And those practices are becoming all the more important, because the word salad of spirituality is really becoming deflated, because consciousness without integration and embodiment is just really, it's first grade spiritual awakening, right? Knowledge without wisdom is just good for you. And so make sure, especially as we keep going in this year, that you've got your things, right? You've got your things in your pocket that are I need to ground. I need to cleanse. I need to protect. It's I need to shield. And my page, I hope you find, is a valuable resource, especially if you scroll, if you feel called to. There's a lot of value around different techniques I teach about cleansing and commanding and closing and loops and like what to spot with interference. There's a lot of value there, and I hope that you're utilizing it. But then the second part of this is what is going to make or break the light workers that are actually like good, like genuinely care about being good, that don't have like a lot of self-serving desires and motivators, that are not like, you know, wolves in sheep's clothing, that are truly here to not just help the world, but help the people that are of the world. We got to find what our actual faith is. Not read in the scripture, but truly felt in the vessel. Not read on the tarot card, but actually sustained in the body through the unknown, right? And that's what's going to keep your path straight, especially because I sense that a lot of us are on like really, really significant pioneering cusps. There are a lot of soul contracts ending, but new contracts beginning. And these new contracts that are beginning, I talk about in my August energy update, either in People's Power Hour, which is my meditation membership. We have a lengthy August update, so that's really cool if you want to meditate with me. And then in my YouTube, I have a shorter condensed August video, but nonetheless, I talk about how you're going to meet these new contracts, but the truth about these contracts is you're not going to be able to open the door at all with your old behaviors. It won't open. It won't open until you can actually sustain in your heart what is actual, a connection to something higher, a true, sustaining, real, honest connection that nobody sees. But as the days go on, people are going to feel, because we're going to be able to sense immediately, is somebody being real, is somebody using their real intelligence, or are they just creating AI? Are they actually honest? Are they truly connected to the art of the heart? Or are they just creating clickbait with like fun spiritual lingo? So find your faith, because you're pioneering something that is never been seen before, and you feel that you are being led to something that is far greater than what you've captured in your mind. And it's the faith that's going to take you there, and the ability to release, find those pressure points and release them in the body, that is going to bring your kingdom come, that is going to allow God's will to manifest through your mission. And you're going to be at the front lines, while more and more people are going to feel lost, while more and more people are going to feel completely apathetic, disassociative, distracted, confused, heavy about what's happening in the world. And of course, what's happening within themselves. So this felt like an important message that I needed to deliver for those of you who are doing God's work right now. And times have been stretching your bones. There's a reason why kids cry in the middle of the night when they're going through, their adolescence. Like the stretches, like their bones are stretching, like we are stretching into our full strength spiritually. And the truth is, it's very vulnerable. It's very narrow. It's quite lonely, especially if you're doing this in integrity. And I believe we're being presented with the end of contracts because new ones are opening. And only those that have actual faith are either not going to be, interwoven with so much interference that they never actually break through. Or if they do break through, they're just perpetuating distortion, right? Or they, stunt their own growth because they don't actually release the energy and have a real relationship with faith. Best advice for people just starting out on their spiritual journey: the sooner that you can develop a meditative practice, the better. I'm very thankful that in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I had no Wi-Fi, living on a cruise ship, and a meditation app for guided meditations, because I developed all of my clair abilities without even knowing what it meant. And I evolved all of my spiritual gifts, my natural psychic abilities, in the comfort of a cabin by myself meditating. And when I got off the ship and I was immersed in the world, this is when I really felt like I got lost, because there was so much information, there was so much pain and trauma, honestly trauma, waking up, and how you see things for what they are. And I didn't have a community or support system. And I found myself very dependent on my spiritual connections, my guides, channeling, and that led me down a very slippery path that I'm thankful for, because of course, it brought me here in many ways. But in the same breath, what I came back to was the very way that I started, which was, can you just sit in solitude and hear yourself? Can you just be here, Like as simple and foundational as it is. And this connection, right? This connection is, I think, what we've lost in the aim of being curious and wanting the insights and wanting all the information and honestly just wanting to understand. And this is why so many of us are really distraught, having a lot of interference and are trying to backpedal because they did all the things and then we're like, wait, I needed the beginning. Yeah, lately a lot of stuff has been happening. Good. I hope you feel safe. I've been seeing, hearing, feeling energy and seeing different colors. Fantastic. If you haven't looked at Sovereign Healer, what's beautiful is I teach different call and response techniques. And they're like, how do you ask certain questions in your meditation? It's not like calling in a bunch of different beings, but just starting to learn how to hear, like connect those dots. Like, oh, that's where that's coming. Cool. Like, I want you to have your miracle moments, especially as these things are happening. And so if it's a line for you to look into Sovereign Healer, this is, in my opinion, this school is going to continue to become probably the most valuable resource, because without sovereignty, without a connection, like this is how I hear spiritual information. And this is how I can actually help people. What do we got? Got a bunch of modalities, but a bunch of people who have interference. And then so they're infusing all the distortion. And then it's like, oh my God. Are we healing or are we harming? So that would be my recommendation. If you're already having all these beautiful connections, look into the Sovereign Healer if you can. And if not, definitely start with meditation. I encourage you to have a look at Pipo's Power Hour, which is my meditation membership. It's super accessible as well, if that's, a concern for you right now. At least starting to get meditations that I frame prioritizing safety, spiritual safety, and a little bit of energy healing and asking some questions so you can start to work with the method. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I've learned a lot of things in a very short amount of time, and I didn't really have a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of people. And in the times where I did way too much, I got really lost. The less, the more, the more things started to open up, the more ET connections, the deeper my channel. To be selected to do global light work for the planet, for the Great Merge, it's not like, let's go to explore, Dora. It's like a lot of very, very, very high levels of responsibility. And my ability to hold all of that in full strength is because I understand how spirituality has become so reckless and why we're getting lost on the path, and how important the safety element is of our awakening first. And then we can ride a bike and do whatever the fuck we want. It's like, first let's train ourselves here and then, grow from there. So it's pretty normal to not be eating much right now. Just feel such a draw towards light, hydrating foods. Have you found a way of eating right now that's helping you balance out this energy? Great question. How do I want to share this? Your gut is informing you what it accepts and what it rejects right now. Your body is telling you, yes, more of this, no more of this. And so one thing that I have found to be very true for me, and the way I teach my mastermind clients in Sovereign Healer, is just listen to what it wants. Listen to what it wants. Because maybe you were craving that and now you're not, and now you're kind of hungry, but now you're not really. And so intuitive eating for me is very important, with a few exceptions. When I'm doing very big spiritual work, which I am right now, obviously, for a lot of my private energy healing clients, full strength for me requires a lot of carbohydrate heavy foods. You might be like, V, sounds like you're gonna lay on the couch and vegetate, like too many carbs is not good for me. I'm like, you'd be surprised what a girl can do with a 2-egg bagel. Like, you would be very surprised. 2 eggs on a bagel, a sandwich, like, you'd be surprised. But then after the work, it's dependent. Sometimes I need really light foods, like a nice light salad. Sometimes I need something more heavy and hearty okay, she's back. And so I encourage you to feel into, are you really ungrounded? Then I recommend something a little bit heavier, right? If you're feeling like, there's a lot of crown chakra energy and it's feeling like your feet are still on the ground, then maybe you might be called to a little bit more of those lighter foods. But I think I have not experienced, to my understanding, any limitation in my channel by eating what I want. Maybe we'll talk in 10 years, maybe we'll talk in 5 years, maybe we'll talk at the end of this year and there'll be a different story. But the more that my intention is infused with what my body is asking of me and what I feel called to eat, Then I just listen to my gut and allow it to tell me. That was pure instinct. That was pure impulse. That was not the food for you. Okay, great. My stomach told me. So let your gut kind of decide based on, are you bloated? Are you uncomfortable? How are your movements? Are you really dehydrated? You let your body kind of indicate, and then can we kind of like eradicate the shame so you can just simply eat intuitively and based on how your gut is responding. Best piece of advice I can give to anybody who's kind of struggling to eat or struggling to stop eating, which can be one or the other right now. Okay, good. I'm lost doing too much. It's become so painful. Yeah. And you're not the first or the last person who's gonna get there, And I just had somebody in my inbox who had been a private kind of mastermind client who was really deep on her priestess path journey, and a lot of what I was trying to guide her to is like, stay more narrow, stop taking advice from this fucking coach and this person and this, that. Stay narrow, stay on your path, stay on your path, because everything I teach is sovereignty. I'm not trying to teach you my way. I'm trying to teach a way that keeps your path true and natural to you, right? Like that's literally the essence of what I do, is keeping you on your natural path of life. And we finished our work, and then I hadn't heard from her until now, so it's been a few months anyway. And she reached out and said, I kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm done with all this healing stuff. It's all bullshit. Like, it's not for me. So she went super modern Christianity, and then realized there's truth in all of it. And then she had an insight that was like, check in on Victoria and see what she's up to. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much, that your intuition, your guides, your higher self brings you to me. I really believe that's how people come to me. And depending on, how shame-free you've become, I'm either your person that's like, yes, or I become a villain in your story very quickly because you can't hold my energy without your shame coming in. And then it's like, or your interference coming in, and then it becomes something that has nothing to do with me. But a lot of us are doing that. And I believe that's because I'm very narrow on my path. I've got one person in my corner. I've got one mentor in my corner. And if I taste somebody else, it's pure intuition. And I very rarely use external sources. We don't need. And let me tell you, that journey was so uncomfortable because my entire life, all I wanted was validation. All I wanted was for someone to choose me. All I wanted was to be good enough. That's all I wanted. And so I projected that all into the spiritual world, and trying to understand all the information so I could feel like I belonged. It was like, I did that. I did that. And there's a lot of pain that comes with, and shame that comes with realizing that maybe the reason that you're awakening to try to get all the information is because the same traumatized person that you were before your awakening, and now it's just kind of found some fluttery language. It's definitely healing, and it's hard to look at, but I can assure you that everything you want is a miracle, and it comes naturally. It might not come as fast, but it certainly comes right. And that's what I teach, and that's certainly what I embody. I try to, the best I possibly can. But I also try to bring the humanness in, so you're like, oh, wow, she doesn't drink her pee and work out 7 days a week. Like, she's not perfect. It's like, I've had these gym clothes on for 4 days, you guys. Every day I put them on, but I just don't want to. I don't feel like it. Which apparently is one of the biggest excuses that people use, is I just don't feel like it. Well, we're always learning and growing. This is my shadow work. I want to leave you with these messages, and I want you to know that I see you, and I'm so proud of the path that you are on. If you're lost, if you're in a void, if you got interference, if you're fucking slaying the game, I see you, and I'm proud of you. This is very, very, very hard, raw material we are working with here. And there is nothing sexy or enlightened about that at all. So permission to binge watch reality TV, if that is what your grounding cord needs. But whatever it is, find ways to release that pressure over and over and over and over again, and find that actual faith. Whether that's in the Bible, whether that's in your own heart, whether that's in Jesus, whether that's in a deity, just make sure that whatever you're working with, it's actually 100% accurate, for you, okay? If this message resonated, I'd love for you guys to bring it wherever it feels good. Share it with your friends who need it, who need that boost of faith, that little bit of confirmation. Share your findings below. I love to read your comments, so long as they're not hating me, honestly. Yeah, I appreciate the ones where people are kind. And I love you guys. Hang in there, and I'll see you soon.